Welcome back to another episode of Tech Talk at Mac. Today's learning target is that I can use the design process to solve problems by creating new and imaginative solutions using a variety of digital tools. The tools we'll be using today will be Adobe Illustrator, and we will be starting our laser project challenge. So the challenge for this project is to create a laser engraved cut earbud holder or phone stand using the supply constraints on the next slide, which are that it will be due this Friday, May 18th. It can be no larger than 4 inches by 4 inches. It must have text that is school appropriate. It must have an image that is copyright free and school appropriate. You have to use the RGB profile for your artboard. All cut lines should be in RGB red and are a stroke width of 0.001 point with no fill color. And engraved areas are used creating um, the RGB black fill with no stroke color. And then you have to show that you have both your cut and engraved layers created with your cut and engraved objects on the correct layer. So here's some examples of earbud holders. So you would measure the holes for the eyes that you were going to be using for the pair of earbuds that you have. Okay, so you would want to measure the diameter of that hole to make sure that when you create your eyes on yours, that they will fit your earbuds when you're done. Your other option is to create a phone stand. Again, you want to make sure that when you create the phone stand, that number one, it has two pieces for it to be able to stand on its own. And number two, that it will be able to support the weight of your phone. And so every phone is different depending on the brand or manufacturer of your phone. So you'll want to know that it will hold and support your phone. Okay, and here's a couple other examples of that. For both of these projects, we're going to be using acrylic, and our acrylic is this clear acrylic like right here for this owl. Okay, and it's a quarter of an inch thick, so about the same thickness as this is right here. So it would be able to hold and stand up and last for the projects that we're using it for. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing that we want to do is we want to go into Adobe Illustrator and we want to create a artboard. Okay, so to do that, we're going to come up here and go to File, New, just like we typically do. And for you guys, the screen's going to look a little bit different because I'm using a newer version of Adobe Illustrator. You'll get the same screen pop-up that you normally get whenever you create your artboard. But they ask the same questions. So under name at the top for you guys, it's going to be your first name, dot your last name, dot laser for this project. Okay. Um, in the drop-down box, it's about halfway down the screen for you guys on the right. You are going to change the unit of measurement from points to inches, okay? And then for the width and the height, which is always to the left of where that's at, you want to put in 4 inches by 4 inches or less than that if what you're making needs to be smaller. But 4 inches by 4 inches is the max. So I'm just going to put that in for my default size. The other thing you want to make sure is that your profile for this, which is right underneath your name, it'll say profile and have a drop down box, is set to RGB color. So for you guys, it'll say basic RGB in our version that we have at the school. Okay, so you want to make sure that that is how it is set up because that is what our laser sees when it looks at the different colors. Okay, and then click the create button. That will make your artboard. And remember, the first thing that we always do after we create our artboard is we need to save that. So we're going to do a file, save as. Okay. And when we do that, we want to go and save that to, you guys are going to save it to your W drive, which I don't have set up on my home computer. So I'm just going to go to this PC. Um, your W drive would be under this PC for you, but for me, I don't have that. So I'm going to actually look, I think I have a folder created in here. I do not, but I do have one created on my external that is for my Mac class and technology class, okay? Yours are also going to be named differently than this because this was the setup we used last year. So for you guys, you will have a folder in here created that says